الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال: اجعلني على خزائن الأرض إني حفيظ عليم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to begin by congratulating you all on the auspicious occasion of the birth of Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha alayhi salam, the 8th Imam of Ahl al-Bayt, who was born on the 11th of the month of Dhul Qa'dah in the year 148 after Hijrah. That was the same year that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam passed away in. He was born in the same year that his grandfather passed away in. And Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha was born during the era of the Abbasi Empire. He did not live to see the Umayyi dynasty. He was born during the Abbasi era, and specifically at a time when the Abbasis, they had taken full control and a full grip of power, and their oppression was at its worst. Imam As-Sadiq alayhi salam, when he passes away, the year he passed away, the time that he passed away, a follower of the Ahl al-Bayt would not be able to go out in public and say, I am the follower of the Ahl al-Bayt. I follow this Imam. Anyone who declares any love, any attachment to the Ahl al-Bayt, this person would be persecuted, this person would be killed, this person would be imprisoned. And this is exactly what they did with Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salam, with his father. Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam spent many years of his life in the dungeons of Harun, in the dungeons of the Abbasi caliphs. So Imam al-Ridha, he opened his eyes. He was born during that time of oppression, during that time where the followers of the Ahl al-Bayt had no rights, they had no way of declaring their identity. But the Imam alayhi salam, his circumstances were different from the circumstances of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salam. And the circumstances of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far were different from that of Imam Sadiq. Every Imam had their own circumstances. And this is why we have to learn, we have to study the lives of our Imams. Some of us, you come and you tell them, the person says, I'm a Shi'i. Yes, you're a Shi'i. What do you know about the Ahl al-Bayt? Imam al-Hussein and Ashura and Imam Ali. That's all they know. Imam Ali and Imam al-Hussein, and from the life of Imam al-Hussein, they only know the day of Ashura. The lives of the Imams are a treasure map, a treasure book. Let us go to them. Let us turn to them. Let us go and learn the knowledge of the Ahl al-Bayt. Let us turn to the Ahl al-Bayt so that we can enrich our lives by learning from them. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. In Rasulullah, you have the best role model. In the Ahl al-Bayt, the family of the Prophet, we have the best role model. How many times do we refer to the Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam? There are many lessons that we can learn from the life of Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha alayhi salam. Many lessons. Perhaps some of the most important lessons is the interfaith that the Imam alayhi salam was leading. Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha, he was born in a time where the followers of the Ahl al-Bayt could not declare their identity. But the time of his death, before his death, he had become the crown prince of the Ma'mun. Now, of course, Al-Ma'mun didn't love the Imam. He forced the Imam, and we will explain how he made him the crown prince. However, the Imam alayhi salam was in Khurasan, and Jews and Christians and people from all over the world, they would come, people with different religions, they would come and they would debate with the Imam, and they would take from the knowledge of Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha alayhi salam. So we will begin covering the life, a gist of the life of Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha alayhi salam. Imam al-Ridha, he was born in Medina, and he was poisoned, and he passed away in Khurasan, in current day Mashhad, in Nayshabur, close to Nayshabur. And the shrine of Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha happens to be the largest mosque on earth today. It is larger than Masjid al-Haram. It is larger than the Prophet's mosque in terms of size. Although there are different prayers that take place in the mosque, in the shrine of Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha, it's not one mosque, but if you take the place as a whole, it is the largest place of worship on earth. Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha, his father was Imam Musa ibn Ja'far, and his grandfather was Imam al-Sadiq. His mother was a lady by the name of Tuktum or Najma. And here we see that the mothers of the Imams, they were not all Arab. Today, some of us, when we say Islam, right away we associate with Islam and Arabs. We think you have to be an Arab to be a Muslim, or every Muslim is an Arab. This is wrong. In fact, the majority of the Muslims are not Arab. And perhaps, I don't know if this is a joke or not, but perhaps the majority of the Arabs don't follow the correct Islam as well. So in Islam, you look at what's in your heart. Inna akramakum indallah atqakum. The closest in the eyes of Allah is the one who has the most piety. This is why you look at the mothers of the Imams. So Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam, he would choose the mother of his son who's going to be an Imam, a lady who was from the non-Arabs. Sometimes they were slaves. They were slaves in the eyes of people, but in the eyes of Allah, she's such a great lady that she carries the Waliullah. She carries the great person who is delivering the message of Islam, the Hujjah of Allah during his time. So Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam lived during turbulent times. He was young, and his father they keep taking his father to the dungeons. They keep taking his father to the prisons. Al-Mahdi, Al-Hadi, Harun, these caliphs, they came and they would all imprison Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salam. So the Imam Musa ibn Ja'far is either in the dungeons of Basra or in Baghdad, or either under house arrest in his own home in Medina, and Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha is in Medina. So he lived at a time where there was no freedom. Imam Musa ibn Ja'far, the day Imam al-Sadiq passed away, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far, he can't tell people, I am the Imam. He says, he tells his companion, if you go out and you tell people I am the Imam, I'm going to be killed. This is what Imam Musa ibn Ja'far did. Imam al-Kadhim passed away, and a new group emerged. A new group emerged by the name of the Waqifah. A new sect emerged. You know, in the Sunni school of thought, there are many sects, and in the Shia school of thought, many sects emerged. They were followers of Imam Ali, but they stopped following one of the Imams at one point. So you have the Zaydis. They started following Zayd, the son of Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, and they stopped following Imam al-Sadiq and Imam al-Baqir. You have the Ismailis who followed Ismail, the oldest son of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. You have the Fatahis, a group of people that followed Abdullah al-Aftah, another son of Imam al-Sadiq. And then you also have those who followed Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam. But then a group of those who did follow Imam al-Kadhim, once Imam Musa ibn Ja'far al-Kadhim was in prison, some of those people who were close to him, some of them, they were the wakala. He was a wakil of the Imam, meaning that he was the representative of the Imam while the Imam was in prison, a man by the name of Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Bata'ini. This man, once Imam Musa ibn Ja'far passed away, and Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam, he is the Imam, and Ali ibn Abi Hamza knows he's the Imam, but he refused to accept Imam al-Ridha as the Imam. And this became known as a school of thought by the name of the Waqifah, meaning they stopped at Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam. They did not believe in Imam al-Ridha. My dear brothers and sisters, when you read about these, be thankful that you're an Ithna Ashari. Be thankful that your whole aqidah is sound, that you are following all of the 12 Imams. Because some people, they stopped at Imam Zayn al-Abidin. Some people, they stopped at Imam al-Ridha. Not Imam al-Ridha. Some people, they stopped at Imam al-Kadhim. Some people at Imam al-Sadiq. So one of the groups that emerged early on in the Imamah of Imam al-Ridha was the group by the name of the Waqifah. They came to Imam al-Ridha and they told him, you're not the Imam. You're not the Imam because Imam Musa ibn Ja'far, he is the Imam al-Ghaib. He is in the Ghaibah. They conflated the narrations that the Imams talked about Imam al-Mahdi with Imam al-Kadhim. They said he is the Imam that is in the Ghaibah right now. And he's still in Ghaibah and he did not die. Of course, they were saying this, but in reality they wanted to keep the money that belonged to Imam al-Kadhim. Instead of delivering it to Imam al-Ridha, the wakil, he has to come and deliver it to Imam al-Ridha. They refused to deliver it and they declared themselves Imams. Another thing, they came and they said, Imam al-Ridha, he does not have any children. You know, Imam al-Ridha, he has one son, and that is Imam Muhammad al-Jawad alayhi salam. They came and they told him, how could you be an Imam when you don't have any sons? So Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam, he tells them, yes, every Imam has to have a son, and I will have a son soon. I will have a son soon. And this is what happened. A few months or a year or so later, Imam Muhammad al-Jawad was born. And with the birth of Imam Muhammad al-Jawad, many of those who were Waqifah, they came back to believe in Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam. This is why the hadith says that the birth of Imam Muhammad al-Jawad, the Imam says it is أعظم بركة على الشيعة, أعظم بركة على الإسلام. The birth of Imam al-Jawad is such a great barakah, blessing for the Muslims because it brought back so many people to believe in the Imam of Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam. Once they saw that, no, he does have a son, so they accepted him as the Imam. I recall reading this narration, Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam, he's sitting with his companions and he tells them, Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Bata'ini died today. Now Imam al-Ridha is in one city, either in Medina or in Khurasan, and Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Bata'ini is in another city. Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Bata'ini, he is one of the narrators that has narrated many narrations from Imam al-Sadiq. Today we take his narrations from Imam al-Sadiq. And he was close to Imam al-Sadiq. He narrates narrations from Imam al-Kadhim, but he became known as Waqifi. He became known as one of the Waqifah. This is why our scholars today in Ilm al-Rijal, when we study those who narrate the hadith, they say, خُذُوا مَا رَوَوْا وَذَرُوا مَا رَأَوْا. Take what they have narrated from Imam al-Sadiq, but ignore their own views. They have their own false views, but take what they have narrated to us, because a lot of the hadith from Imam al-Sadiq are authentic. Imam al-Ridha, he says, Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Bata'ini died today. And they washed his body and they placed him in his grave. Imam al-Ridha is speaking on ilm al-ghayb. Ali ibn Abi Hamza was not with him at that time, but he's telling his companions. He tells them he died today, and they placed him in his grave, and they poured the soil on him, and the angels came to him. Munkar wa Nakir. They came to him and they began to ask him, Man Rabbuk? Who is your Lord? He said, Allah Rabbi. Man Nabiyyuk? Who is your prophet? He says, Rasulullah. من إمامك؟ علي إمامي. من بعد علي؟ الحسن, الحسين, Ali ibn al-Hussein. And then he says, Muhammad al-Baqir, Ja'far al-Sadiq, Musa al-Kadhim. And then he does not say anything. He stays quiet. They tell him, who is after Imam Musa ibn Ja'far? He doesn't say anything. They tell him, who is after Imam Musa ibn Ja'far? He doesn't say anything. Then Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam says the angels, they took a whip and they whipped him in his grave. With that whip, his grave lit on fire. Because he was not able to answer something as simple as the aqa'id, something as simple as the usul ad-din. Every single one of us should be able to answer these simple questions. Who is your imam? Who's your leader? Who do you take the principles of your life from? Who do you take your values from? Your religion, who are you taking it from? Do I have an answer? Who am I taking my religion from? Who am I taking my faith from? This is why we have to be very careful that the sources that we take our knowledge from are those who are appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our imams, the Ahlul Bayt, Rasulullah. We have to be very careful. Now, Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam, he was in Medina, and at that time, after the death of Harun, his two sons, Amin and Ma'mun, they came to power. First, after the death of Harun, it was supposed to be Amin, who was in Iraq, in Baghdad. And he has another son by the name of Ma'mun, who was in Khurasan. One, his mother was an Arab, the other one, his mother was a non-Arab. Harun, he said, my son, who's an Arab, Muhammad al-Amin, he is going to be the Khalifa after me. And after him is going to be Ma'mun. So this is what happened. Harun passed away, and his son, Amin, came to power. By the way, a lot of people don't know this. Harun, the man who was so powerful, the man who used to speak to the clouds and say, wherever you reign, I'm going to benefit. Do you know where Harun is buried? Harun is buried next to Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam. He's buried right next to Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam. Because when Harun passed away, he had taken his army all the way to Khurasan. And he passed away, his son Ma'mun, he buried him right there. And then once Imam al-Ridha passed away, after he poisoned Imam al-Ridha, Ma'mun poisoned Imam al-Ridha, he tried to bury Imam al-Ridha beneath the feet of Harun, beneath the feet of his father. They keep coming and they dig and they dig and they try to dig, they see that they can't do anything. They go above the head of Harun, they dig and they see the earth, they're able to dig, and they bury Imam al-Ridha above the head of Harun. Above the head of Harun. Today, millions of people, they go and they visit Imam al-Ridha, they don't know where Harun is buried. Even though Harun used to rule, Harun was so powerful, he was a king. No one knows and no one cares. And those who do know, they go and they say salam to Imam al-Ridha, and they curse Harun, who imprisoned Imam Musa ibn Ja'far and poisoned Imam Musa ibn Ja'far. Anyways, so after Harun passes away, his son Amin comes to power, and Amin comes to power and he says, I'm not going to let Ma'mun, my brother, be after me. He removes him from the crown prince position. So this leads to a major civil war that took place in the Muslim world. Two brothers, they're fighting over power. On one side, Ma'mun, who has a Persian army, and on another side, Amin, who has an Arab army. They're fighting and they're fighting until the army of Ma'mun, they're able to enter through Baghdad and they cross into the castle. Amin does not even realize. He's so drunk, he doesn't even realize what's going on. They go and they behead him, and Ma'mun comes to power. Now, Ma'mun is in power, but he sees that no one is respecting his power. Because the Abbasis, they came to power in the name of the Ahlul Bayt, but they ended up persecuting the Ahlul Bayt. They ended up persecuting each other. So even the children of Ali ibn Abi Talib have no respect for them. Even the Abbasis themselves, they were fighting with one another. So he thought of a plan. What's that plan? He says, I'm going to bring Ali al-Ridha I'm going to bring him in my government in order to gain the respect of people, so that people respect me, so that people revere me, so that people see a leader. I'm going to bring him. But his attempt was just to place Imam al-Ridha and not give him real power. So he writes a letter to Imam al-Ridha. Imam al-Ridha is in Medina. He tells him, come and be the Khalifa. Imam al-Ridha tells him, no, I will not do that. He tells him, come, I'm giving you the position of the Khilafah. Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam, he tells him, if the position of Khilafah is yours, appointed by God, then who are you to give it away? And if it's not yours, then also who are you to be speaking about the Khilafah? If it's something that God has given you, then you have to respect that and you have to take it. And if God did not give it to you, then who are you to come and give away the Khilafah on behalf of the Muslims? So he kept insisting and insisting until he tells the Imam, you will come and become the Wali al-Ahad, you will come and become the crown prince, or else you will be killed. If you don't do so, I'm going to kill you. So Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam, he was forced to go all the way to Khurasan. And Ma'mun, he sends the Imam through a route that does not pass by through the cities where the Shi'as live in. For example, he didn't take him through Iraq and through Qom and that route. He took him through a different route where he doesn't pass through the cities where some of the followers and the lovers of the Ahlul Bayt live in. This is why when Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam left Medina, he gathered all of his family and he tells them, cry for me. Cry for me because I'm not coming back. And he says, Man zarani fi ghurbati, zurtuhu fi ghurbatih. The one who visits me while I'm ghareeb, while I'm taken to a city, a town. Now Mashhad is a holy city. Now Mashhad is a city of the followers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. But at that time, he was summoning the Imam to a city where there were no followers. He wants him to be living basically as a prisoner in the palace of Ma'mun. So the Imam alayhi salam was forced to go. Of course, Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam, he went and he was able to do many things. One point, Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam, when the Imamah came to him, we don't have that many narrations where the Imam would come out in public and he would say, I'm the Imam. But Imam al-Ridha, he would come out publicly and he would say, I'm the Imam, even when he was in Medina. Some of his followers, they came to him, they tell him, Harun just killed your father. How are you coming and saying, I'm the Imam? Be careful, he's going to kill you. Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam, with full confidence and full faith, he says, Harun is not able to touch a hair on my body. And this is what happened. Harun passed away. Amin passed away. Now Ma'mun, he comes to power and he brings the Imam to be the crown prince. So publicly in front of people, it looked like the Imam was living in a palace. The Imam looked very comfortable. The Imam was living as the crown prince. Even they made the money coins. They made coins. The mint of the coins, some of them, they had the name of Imam Ali ibn Musa Ridha alayhi salam as the crown prince. The Imam alayhi salam, he goes, and every city he would pass by, people would come out and they would welcome the Imam. Yabna Rasulullah. This is the first time some of these new Muslims, they've only heard about Rasulullah and the Ahlul Bayt. They've never seen anyone who's an authentic leader of Islam. What they have seen is the Umayyas, and then after them they came and they saw the Abbasis. These are not authentic leaders of Islam. So Imam al-Ridha would pass by the cities, thousands of people, they would come out and they would welcome the Imam. In one narration, this is a narration that is narrated by many people, Sunnis and Shi'as alike. And this is a hadith which is referred to as as-silsila dhahabiyya, the golden chain. It's a golden chain because the narrators of this hadith are golden. What is the story behind this? Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam, he passes by Nayshabur. When he passes by Nayshabur, he's riding on a caravan, and they say 10,000 people came out to welcome the Imam alayhi salam. 10,000 people, Sunnis and Shias alike. Many of the scholars of the Sunnah, they narrate this hadith. So they tell him, Yabna Rasulullah, we want to hear a hadith from you. We want to hear a hadith from you. So he tells them, Sami'tu min Abi Musa ibn Ja'far. I heard from my father, Musa ibn Ja'far al-Kadhim alayhi salam, who heard from his father, Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq alayhi salam, who heard from his father, Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, who heard from his father, Ali ibn al-Husayn Zayn al-Abidin, who heard from his father, Imam al-Husayn, who heard from his father, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, who heard from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alih, who heard from Jibreel alayhi salam, who heard from Allah. What did he hear? He says, Allah says, Kalimatu la ilaha illallah, Hisni, faman dakhala Hisni, amina min adhabi. The Imam alayhi salam, he says, this is a hadith that goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it has a golden chain where Allah says, Kalimatu la ilaha illallah. When you say la ilaha illallah, there is no God other than Allah, you have entered into the fortress of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have entered into the husn, under the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَمَنْ دَخِلَ حُسْنِي أَمِنَ مِنْ عَذَابِي. The one who enters by saying that statement, this person will be saved from the adhab. This person will be saved from the punishment. This is why the Muslims, they believe that the one who says La ilaha illallah will not enter into the hellfire. Someone who says this kalima, Allah will not place that person in the hellfire. Of course, the Imam alayhi salam, then he paused, and then he says, بِشَرْطِهَا وَشُرُوطِهَا وَأَنَا مِن شُرُوطِهَا. Then the Imam alayhi salam, he tells them, La ilaha illallah, it's easy to say. However, La ilaha illallah has conditions. Everyone can come and say La ilaha illallah. Saddam, before they executed him, he said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Does that mean that he's going to paradise? A man who killed millions of people? Fir'aun, when he saw death in front of him, Pharaoh, he said, now I believe in the God of Moses and Aaron. Does that mean that he's going to be saved? No. La ilaha illallah has conditions. La ilaha illallah khafifatun ala lisan. It's very easy to say it. In fact, the easiest word or statement to say is La ilaha illallah. This is why when a person who's dying, he's ordered to say La ilaha illallah. It's the easiest thing. You don't need to move your lips. You just say La ilaha illallah. Anything else, astaghfirullah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, they require more movement. They require more effort. La ilaha illallah does not require any effort. You just move your tongue. However, La ilaha illallah has conditions. The Imam says, بِشَرْطِهَا وَشُرُوطِهَا وَأَنَا مِن شُرُوطِهَا. One of the conditions of La ilaha illallah is believing in Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam. He says, I am one of the conditions of La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah has conditions. Believing in Allah, not worshipping anything other than Allah, taking your religion, in kuntum tuhibbun Allah fattabi'uni. Take your religion from Rasulullah. And if you love Rasulullah, then you follow all of the orders of Rasulullah. That means you show love to the Ahlul Bayt. That means you obey and show mawadda to the Ahlul Bayt. People, they say La ilaha illallah, and then they go and they kill the Ahlul Bayt. They go and they oppress the Ahlul Bayt. There, La ilaha illallah would just mean movement of the lips, movement of your mouth. That's it. You need to give it meaning through your actions. This is a hadith that is narrated by all Muslims. Of course, that last part, بِشَرْطِهَا وَشُرُوطِهَا, only a small group of the Sunni scholars also narrate that part. But the first part of it, it is narrated by all Muslims, and it's tawatur. So Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam, he goes to Khurasan. And the Imam alayhi salam, he spends time in Khurasan, educating people. He spends time in Khurasan teaching people the essence of Islam. These people, they had never been exposed to a true leader. Imagine today, Rasulullah or a man who is like Rasulullah, one of the Imams comes with us. It's going to be something very different to our eyes. We have never seen anyone who walks like Rasulullah, who talks like Rasulullah, who has the knowledge of Rasulullah. So these people in Khurasan, they were exposed to someone who was like Rasulullah. What they read and hear about Rasulullah, this was the man. The Imam alayhi salam, he used to live with the people and show people the akhlaq and the love and the compassion. The Imam alayhi salam, he would sit and eat with the poor people. With the poor people. The Ma'mun would tell him, what are you doing? You're sitting in your castle. You leave the castle and you go and you sit on the ground eating with the poor people? He tells them, yes. Because when I looked, last time I checked, I saw that there was one father and one mother, and that was Adam. Adam and Eve are our parents. What makes me better than anyone else? What makes another person better than me? We all go back to Adam, the white and the black and the rich and the poor. We all go back to one father and one mother. He says, the last time I checked, there was one father and one mother, and there is one qiyamah where we will all have to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why should I come and make myself be greater and look down on other people because of their different language or because of their different culture or because of something else? This was the Imam alayhi salam. They say that one day the Imam, he goes, at that time, the places where you take a bath, it was a public place where people take a bath. Of course, they're dressed, but you go there and you wash your body. Not every house had their own shower. So he goes there, even in some of the old Muslim countries right now, you will find a big place in the middle of the souk, for example, in the middle of the town, where it's a big hammam. People, they go there and they wash themselves, they bathe themselves. So one day Imam Ridha alayhi salam, he goes to wash himself. A man, he's sitting there, he tells him, hey you, come here and start scrubbing my back. Imam Ridha alayhi salam, he goes and he starts scrubbing the man's back. And then he tells him, do this for me. The Imam, he does it. And then suddenly one of the guards, he comes and he tells him, what are you doing? You're making Imam Ridha, this man who's Wali al-Ahd, you're making him do this for you? Something that probably a worker in the place, that would be the job of that worker. The man, he starts shivering. And he looks at Imam Ridha, he tells him, oh my master, why did you have to obey me? Why did you listen to me when I told you? You should have told me, you know what, forget you, what are you telling me to do? The Imam alayhi salam, he tells him, I listened to you because I wanted to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I wanted to show my servitude and my humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one is better than the other. And what I did to you, I did it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why should I would only disobey you if you would tell me to do something that would break the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This doesn't break the law of Allah. So therefore, I saw it as an opportunity to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was the Imam alayhi salam. He would live with the people. He didn't look down on people. And the Imam, one of the qualities of the Imam is that he made him, and all of the Imams, is that they made themselves accessible to people. Today, it's very unfortunate, as soon as someone comes to a position of power, right away, there's a guard, there's doors, you can't enter on this person, you have to go through security, you have this and that, and you will not, leaders and leaders of faith, unfortunately. The Imams alayhim salam, people would walk in on them. People would come and walk in on them. Amir al-Mu'mineen, he was the Khalifa. People would come, the poor, the rich, they would all come and they would walk in on the Imam. Imam al-Ridha, who was the crown prince, Ma'mun, he had guards, but the Imam, he would go out and he would make himself accessible to people, where everyone would be able to reach him. And everyone had access to him. And this is how the ulama should be, and this is how the hukama and the leaders should also be as well, where people have access to them. Imam al-Ridha, everyone had access to him. One day, it was the Eid prayer. It was the Salat al-Eid. Ma'mun, he comes and he tells them, Ali ibn Musa al-Ridha, he's going to lead the prayer. Imam al-Ridha tells him, if I lead the prayer, I will lead the prayer the way Rasulullah led the prayer. He tells him, yes, go ahead. So it was the day of Eid, and Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Ridha, they were walking outside to go out in the desert, because thousands of people, they come to the prayer, so they would have to go somewhere where there's an open field. So the Imam alayhi salam is going, and the people, they are reminded of Rasulullah in the way that they see the Imam is walking, the clothes that he's wearing, the takbir and the tahleel that he's saying. The Imam was walking barefoot to go to the salah out of humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People, they were looking at the Imam and they would throw themselves at the feet, kissing the feet of the Imam alayhi salam. Because now he's out with everyone and people are seeing this man who resembles Rasulullah. He speaks like Rasulullah. This is what we read about. This is the Rasulullah that we know about. He was about to lead the prayer. Ma'mun, he heard that people are being attracted to the Imam in such a way. He sends a messenger to the Imam, tells him, you don't need to lead the prayer. You don't need to lead the prayer. You could go back to the castle. You could go back to the palace. Because he realized that if the Imam leads the prayer, perhaps people during those moments, they could turn against Ma'mun and revolt against him. Because they see someone who is worthy of the leadership. This was the Imam alayhi salam. When Imam al-Ridha first went to Khurasan, Ma'mun, he comes and he calls the leaders of all the faiths. A man by the name of Al-Jathliq, the leader of the Christians, the leader of the Jews, the leader of all of these religions, they gather. And the Imam alayhi salam, he is there. Ma'mun, he comes and he tells them, come, and I want you to place your most difficult questions to debate with the Imam. Of course, Ma'mun, he wants to make Imam al-Ridha look bad in front of people. He wants to have someone ask the Imam, imagine you're gathered with 20, 30 leaders of the different faiths. Someone is going to say something, and most likely you're not going to be able to answer correctly. Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam, he goes and he sits in the majlis, and Ma'mun, he tells them, ask him whatever you want. So Al-Jathliq, one of those men, he tells Ma'mun, how can I ask him when I believe in the Bible and he believes in the Quran? What is he going to use as a proof to convince me? I don't believe in the Quran. If he comes and he says, Qala Rasulullah, or the Quran says this and that, I'm not going to believe in that because I don't believe in the Quran. Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam, he tells him, ask me from your books and I will answer you. Ask me from your books. Ask me with your language and I will answer you. So the Imam alayhi salam, and these are all recorded. Shaykh al-Saduq, he has a book by the name of Uyun Akhbar al-Ridha. Uyun Akhbar al-Ridha. This has the akhbar, all of whatever comes out of the Imam, the narrations and the ahadith of Imam al-Ridha, they're narrated in this book. The munadarat, the debates, they're all in this book. The Imam alayhi salam, he would speak to the Arab in Arabic. He would speak to the Persian in the Persian language. He would speak to the person who came from Rome with their language. He would speak with the people of the Bible with their Bible, the people of the Torah with the Torah. This was the Imam alayhi salam. He has the knowledge of every single person. Of course, Ma'mun, he realized that if Imam al-Ridha stays here longer, people are going to rebel against him. So he decides to poison Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam. And he sends the poison to the Imam, and the Imam alayhi salam passes away at the age of 55. at a very young age. Most of our Imams, they lived very short lives, 55 years old. And the Imam alayhi salam was buried in Khurasan. And the grave of Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam became known as the hub of the Shi'as, where people from all over the world, they come and they visit Imam al-Ridha. And of course there are hadith about this. Rasulullah, he talks about the grave of Imam al-Ridha. He says, a piece of my flesh is going to be buried in Khurasan. Whoever buries him, I will guarantee this person. Whoever visits him, I will guarantee this person paradise. Imam al-Ridha, he says in a hadith, Man zarani fi ghurbati, zurtuhu fi ghurbatih. The one who visits me in my loneliness, I will visit that person in his or her loneliness. When is that loneliness? That is in the grave. That is in the qiyamah. That's when Imam al-Ridha will come and give you the shafa'ah. And this is why we have narrations which say that the ziyarah of Imam al-Ridha is worth even greater than the ziyarah of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Sayyid al-Khoi, the great scholar, he was asked, which ziyarah is greater? He tells them the ziyarah of Imam al-Ridha is greater than the ziyarah of Imam al-Hussein. Why? Imam al-Hussein, you have ziyarah of Arafah and Sha'ban in the nights of Ramadan. You have so many ziyarahs of Imam al-Hussein. Why is the ziyarah? Some scholars, from what they understand out of the narrations, is that the ziyarah of Imam al-Ridha is worth more. The reason is that anyone who visits Imam al-Ridha, this person is a Ithna Ashari Shi'i. But the ones who visit Imam al-Hussein, no, some of them are Waqifa, some of them are Zaydis, some of them are Ismaili, some of them are Alawi, some of them are Buhra. Their aqidah is not fully sound. But after Imam al-Ridha, there were no more divisions. So anyone who believes in Imam al-Ridha, this person believes in Imam al-Mahdi. But the one who believes in Imam al-Hussein, perhaps they don't believe in Imam Zayn al-Abidin. Or the one who believes in Zayn al-Abidin, perhaps they don't believe in Imam al-Baqir. The one who believes in Imam al-Baqir, maybe they don't believe in Imam al-Sadiq. The one who believes in Imam al-Sadiq, maybe they don't believe in Imam al-Kadhim. But the one who believes in Imam al-Ridha, believes in Imam al-Jawad, and believes in Imam al-Hadi and Imam al-Hasan al-Askari, all the way until Imam al-Mahdi. So after Imam al-Ridha, there were no more divisions. There were no more sects that emerged. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to guarantee that great reward for the one who has the sound aqidah. The one who has the strongest aqidah, they will receive the great reward of the ziyarah of Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all the ziyarah of Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Ridha alayhi salam. And the shafa'ah of this great Imam. Believe me, my dear brothers and sisters, the ziyarah of Imam al-Ridha is heaven. Going and visiting Imam al-Ridha, you feel like you're entering into paradise. When you enter into the shrine, into the place where the Imam alayhi salam is buried, make an effort. Make an effort to go, to take your family, to visit the Imams alayhim salam. You will find the barakah, you will find the blessings in this life and insha'Allah in the afterlife. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi at-tahirin.